Some of the biggest gainers so far in this crypto bull market have been AI coins, but not just any AI coins. Coins that launched back in the last bull market, the likes of Ajax, the likes of Fetch AI. And as we shift from AI into Deepin and then on to GameFi, it's this GameFi narrative that we need to be paying attention to. And we need to go and find some projects that were launching quietly in the last bull market that could be about to explode. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. We're also going to look into a couple of different tokens and deep dive into one that I think could be one of the biggest plays of this bull market going forward. So do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get into today's video. You run ahead and try and find out what the project is. We need to understand something very key about where we are right this second. You know the market has been moving hard towards the upside recently, but particularly some projects more than others. AI deep in projects before the next rotation. And that's why it's so key that we notice the shift in momentum. Look, AI crypto, Google Trends, an all-time high search volume right now. This is not an ideal time to be aping into any projects within that niche. And Deepin has well been absolutely exploding recently, and we've given it a lot of exposure on this channel in the likes of Fallon Network, Filecoin, Render, and some others. But as you're probably aware, retail has just arrived back into the market, and there's only a few things that retail loves more than aping into GameFi narratives. And that's why the interest over time for Google Trends, previous bull market, it went absolutely bonkers, and right now you can see it's starting to build momentum again. A good time for entering, perhaps. Now, there's a good reason, in my opinion, why GameFi and Metaverse stuff does well. Potentially because it has the ability to onboard a mass number of users into crypto, i.e. mass adoption. But not only that, games are fun, more interesting to learn about, and also easier to understand for the average crypto investor out there. Now guys, there's a few ways we can go and find our GameFi project that we desire. Okay, we can go to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, but most of you already know those. I want to show you something new, because why else would you bother coming and watching me? Now, we can go across to CryptoRank.io, free website, and CryptoRank.io lets us do a few different bits and pieces, but what we're going to use it for is to find GameFi tokens that were raising money in and around the last bull market. And before we do it, here's why we want to do it. This is DeFiAlarma.com. You can see on the right-hand side all these orange bars. These show the amount of money that projects were raising in crypto at different points in the bull market. You will see November the 1st, 2021, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, around that level, you can see that $7 billion was being invested into projects. Right now, in the current month, you see there's been $694 million. Less than 10% of that total volume, which means lots of these projects raising money around here weren't really ready to get up and running, and actually will run pretty hot into this bull market. Okay, so back to CryptoRank. What do we want to do? Well, first things first, we want to go to categories. We want to go to GameFi. Okay, GameFi, obviously the industry that we're looking at, and you'll see at the top of the list some of these big GameFi platforms that obviously you will recognize. Look at the market cap on some of these guys, $2 billion. Decentraland 1.2, Axie Infinity, I mean, you know the rest. Now, these kind of give us a benchmark of where some projects could end up at. Now, to get our 100x, we're looking at projects right now that have maybe a $20 million valuation. If it goes to $2 billion, then we can make potentially our 100x. But most of the games and stuff you're seeing out there right now are pretty crap. And as this progresses, I'll show you things that you need to look into to find some killer projects. Now, what I want to do is to sort by market cap. This is really important because I don't want to buy these $2 billion market cap coins because it's got to go to $20 billion for me to make a 10x. You didn't come here today to make a 10x. You came for more. But I think there's a big risk of going too far down this list. And lots of people will be like, well, if you buy this coin, you know, that's got like a $10 market cap, then you can make lots of money. But the chances of you not making any money is much higher. Okay, so what we want to find is slightly more established projects, probably ranging in the sort of $20 to $40 million market cap range, just to kind of make things a bit more simple for us. And between the $20 and $40 million range, we haven't got a huge amount of projects. This one is an interesting one, Metacade, which I've talked about before on the channel. We can click on and we can find out some more information about this. And you can see it's been having some good sort of upside action. You can find out some bits and pieces more about this, but more importantly, what we want to look at is when it was basically raising its funds. And looking through here, it wasn't really around until early 2023. Actually had a pretty impressive launch back in April of 2023, and will likely do well. But we want to find projects from the last bull market, because these are going to be pumping earlier, and we want to be in the earlier pumps. Now, annoyingly, I can't sort through these by the dates that they were raised, so you have to basically run through manually. Another one, Blocktopia, currently sat with a market cap of around $42 million. You can see it's absolutely been booming up towards the downside and then lost basically half its value in just a very short space of time. Now, Blocktopia is a project I was actually invested in the last bull market, and I know was raising funds before the last kind of bull market top. It launched basically October of the bull market, okay? It did a really successful drive towards the upside and then basically got decimated into the bear market, which many of these coins did. Blocktopia may be an interesting project to go and pay more attention to, but I've seen this project before. I'm not so keen on this kind of price action right now. It seems we might have missed a chance. I've gone through a lot of these different projects, and some of these you might know, but I don't want to just drag you through all of this research. I want to cut to the chase. And after going in depth into a lot of these different projects, there was one that caught my eye, and it is this one, Affyn. Currently sits here with a market cap of $41.6 million. So it's around our kind of level within market cap. And after going through some of their social media, something key caught my attention, and it's this. They're just about to launch a brand new game, and during the test phases, this game called Buddy Arena outperformed Pokemon Unite and the League of Legends Wild Rift. Now, you might not know much about gaming, but you probably recognize the names Pokemon and League of Legends. And this could just well turn out to be an absolute beast. Now, first things first, we come across to what looks like a very clean-looking website. Now, after digging a bit deeper into Affyn, I found out that this project has actually been around for the last 2 or 3 years, just towards the end of the last bull market and then kind of going through a bear market. Now, ultimately, that means that this project didn't really get much exposure, but it gives it a lot of time to go and work on developing their games so that the games are ready to launch right now, which is obviously very key. Now, Affyn is made up of a few different parts. The Buddy Arena game, which is launching tomorrow, and a few other bits and pieces. Now, the flagship product of Affyn is something called the Nexus Metaverse, which is what you can see basically happening here, and what it's depicting is something very interesting. Whether you're into gaming or not, you've probably heard about something called Pokemon Go, which was all the rage just a couple of years ago, where basically it combined being outside doing real life activities with going and playing this game in order to go and find yourself different monsters. And this is a similar type concept. It encourages you to go out and about with your friends in order to go and collect buddies, which are these cute little animals that you can see here, in order to then go and train them up and participate in battles against various different monsters and things within the game. Now, this is quite cool because the buddies that you find in the metaverse can then be trained up and then can be used in different games within the whole Affyn ecosystem. By training buddies, players will earn rewards paid in Affyn tokens. Not only that, but if they want to upgrade their buddies or add different bits and pieces, they then need to buy Affyn tokens to pay back into the system. And this is very key when we're looking at GameFi projects, because it's a way to bring tokens out of the ecosystem and build the value of a token. As an investor, that's what I'm really looking at right now. I want to find a game that people actually want to play, which we can see that they've already got, and encourage users to bring in other people. Because typically when you're playing your mobile phone games and other bits and pieces, you're doing it on your own. You're not really interacting with other people, which is very limiting to the amount of people that can get onboarded into a game. But if you're actually actively going out and about playing a video game to go and collect these different characters, then you're more than likely going to drag other people into this game with you. And that's what I think Affyn is trying to do after watching an introduction video from their CEO. Now, Nexus World is a geolocation-based play-to-earn game. You know, the same thing as we talked about earlier with Pokemon Go, where you have to be out and about to interact with the game itself. And as you can see, guys, the Affyn token is powering the ecosystem. Now, something that I'm going to share here is tokenomics. And I don't typically share this kind of stuff because I know many people are new and it doesn't really kind of like mean much to them, but I think it's worth knowing. And as my channel grows, my aim is to kind of keep upskilling you and bring your attention to all sorts of different aspects of investing in crypto so that you can become as profitable as possible. And if that sounds good, then why are you not subscribed? But look, this is the token distribution, okay? Circulating supply around 29%, which many people will be like, well, that's on the real low side. That's not really great. And fair enough. But on the right-hand side, you've got the locked stage, okay? Where you can see 28% is basically held by the foundation, the support of the ecosystem, you know, and also the day-to-day running of all this. Now, this has all been locked for a duration of 4 years or more, which is incredibly important for us as investors who might be feeling like we're early into a project. There's a reserve, there's like budgets for other bits and pieces like team, marketing, revenue, land, flag sale, which I'm talking about in a minute. Now, something else that I kind of tend to focus on within GameFi and GameFi projects. In the last bull market, some particularly top performers were the likes of Gala Games. Why Gala did so well was it basically had a big ecosystem of players, but not only that, it managed to get a big ecosystem of players because it had a variety of different games available for people. This isn't a platform that's trying to attract like pure gamers, okay? It's trying to attract people who like gaming, but it's also trying to attract people who like to be out and about and do other different bits and pieces, which is quite cool because then it opens up the market to have potentially a bigger ecosystem of players. Now, there are other bits and pieces going on, but I want to just look at Buddy Arena because this is the game that is launching 21st of March, so probably today by the time you've seen this video. Now, this is the trailer for the Buddy Arena game, and the Buddy Arena is the multiplayer online battle arena game, which had great retention. You can see it's basically fighting against lots of individuals, using your characters to be able to participate in these battles in order to try and earn rewards in various tokens. These tokens as well can be either used within the ecosystem to upgrade your players and things like that, or taken out the ecosystem to spend on things like shopping trips or whatever else. Now, the lifestyle part is coming soon, but you can see that basically you're out and about doing your shopping trips, but collecting tokens and things like that, which is an interesting thing. I guess once people move towards using things like their Apple headsets and other bits and pieces, things like this could become more and more popular. Also, you can see there's other bits and pieces like World Viewer, where you can go and buy portions of the metaverse and adapt these pieces of the metaverse in whichever way you want, and then potentially in the future you can go and sell them on. There's other things like NFT collections and all sorts of other bits and pieces. And there's some really notable names within here that we should be paying attention to, particularly Immutable and also Warner Music Singapore. Now, this is a Singapore-based company, and that's great since it's a country that is very pro-crypto and probably won't be facing much in terms of rules and regulations into the future in the same way that like US-based projects might be. Now, recently, I've been talking about lots of different projects, and I've kind of started to understand that there are like a lot of different key aspects when looking into potential crypto investments. And you may have noticed this with Aether, a deep-in project we've covered on the channel quite a lot recently, that they've been able to build a huge amount of hype and excitement, and that's mainly been through their Twitter, as well as various partnerships like the Node Sale, which we ran through the channel as well. Now, as we look into the Affyn official Twitter page, I'm keen to check out like how often they're posting, how attractive their posts are, and how many interactions they're getting. Now, due to the nature again of kind of GameFi and metaverse and all these like pretty colors and pretty pictures that get people excited, you will see that some of these posts, guys, have 268,000 views. And that's interesting, okay, because it means that lots of people are starting to pay attention to this project. Not only that, but they've also got a YouTube channel which has been quite active in uploading different kind of content. Again, this is important, okay? Projects are building hype and excitement around themselves. And that's what we need if we're going to be investing, because other people are going to get on board, and that ultimately will push the price of tokens up. And this post here that's got 268,000 views led me down the path to find out something else. Get ready, Affyn has teamed up with Imaginary Ones, the Roblox of Web3. Now coming across to Imaginary Ones, I realized something very important. Imaginary Ones, let me just give them a follow, is a project that launched an NFT sale back in the last bull market. And if you were involved in NFT trading in the last bull market, you've probably heard of this as well. They made these cool NFTs that still managed to be holding a floor price of 1 ETH plus, which is pretty impressive after basically being through a bear market and then a bull market again. Now, Imaginary Ones, as we come over and see the website here, has a lot of exciting things going on by the looks of it, and is building like Web3 Roblox. And by looking at this project, it's something I want to learn more about, and I will try and get into more depth on this in future videos. Now, after reading briefly, I've seen they're also going to be launching a token called Bubble. Now, look down below, look at some of the partnerships that Imaginary Ones appears to have. Vogue magazine, Tatler, okay? These are big brands in like Web 2 and the high street, okay? This is, again, like something that could be onboarding lots of people. This is probably why it's a good partnership to be having with Affyn. Now, also, I found out that there's ways to go and interact with Affyn as well as Imaginary Ones to earn airdrops on each of these different platforms. So by holding Affyn tokens and participating in various different quests and things like that on their platform, then you can qualify to win Bubble tokens and vice versa. And since Imaginary Ones has a following of like 560k, which is pretty damn big, it's probably a very handy relationship for Affyn, a much newer project to be making the most of. Now, lots of GameFi projects out there haven't really kind of got round to releasing any games yet. Affyn launches the game today, which is obviously very important. Here's some of the games that have launched over the last couple of years that have performed rather strongly. You've got My Neighbor Alice, you've got Mavia, Illuvium, which I'm probably sure most of you have heard of, and Pixels, $727 million market cap. Now, this came from their Twitter and is clearly a little bit out of date because it says $19 million. And as you look into the coin market cap right now, the market cap sits at $24 million. But still, to reach the same market cap as Pixels, that's like a 30x, which is pretty impressive. Now, what I want to know is, am I early talking about this, or has everyone else already been talking about it? Now, I went across YouTube and searched, and there wasn't really much exposure at all on many kind of YouTubers and things like that. it doesn't appear that there's been much in terms of any marketing drives, significant marketing drives at least, that have kind of gone out. Now also as well, if we look at tweetscout.io, we can search using the handle, okay, so if we go back to Twitter, using this handle, Affyn Official, and tweetscout.io, you can paste it in, you can see some of the different stats that have been going on right now. See some of the different influencers who are starting to follow it. We can see basically the purple line is the number of followers, and they appear to have added about 30,000 in the last month or so. And in the last 6 days, they seem to have added about 30,000 followers. So potentially we're just on the cusp of when this might get exciting. And then in terms of top followers, 250, I don't know what that means, okay? But it appears like things are going in the right direction. So let's have a look at a chart, shall we? Now, obviously, this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is kind of floundering around up here at $61,400. Will it go up? Will it go down? Well, it could well be consolidating in this area for a continued push. I think whenever that continued push happens is then when we get that GameFi rotation, suddenly things start to wake up. So if we're getting further dips in Bitcoin, it gives us better and better opportunities to be able to ape into projects. No, to be able to carefully invest in projects. Do your own research. Don't ape into anything. And as I look into this chart right now for Affyn, okay, you can see that, yeah, it would have been lovely to have been getting into it back here, because I just wasn't aware about this project, okay? Maybe I spent too much of my time trying to make you money with Deepin, and now the shift has come to GameFi, and, I've, after digging deep, come across this, but it still looks like we're pretty early. After it kind of woke up here, which was around the 3 cents mark, currently it sits around 3x higher than that right now, which isn't bad. Remember, $24 million market cap. It's had a big push, and what we are liking to see is this 1, 2, 3... it's been in a pullback for a good week, and then potentially that pullback is coming to a close. Let's put on the 4 hour, and we can maybe see whether we got some nice buy zones to be looking at here. Now, I've told you in a video I made yesterday on how to identify a buy zone. Simply put, you're looking for these big kind of candles to come out of an area that's been going sideways like this. It shows where institutions and bigger money are looking to buy into a project. It indicates good value, and also when you dip into there again, you can see that we get similarly bought up. This is, therefore, a box of interest we might be wanting to pay attention to. Something between 8.7 and 9.7 cents. Who knows what's going to happen in the market before this video goes live, but overall it looks pretty healthy after having this good pullback. If it continues to fall lower, maybe this would be the next buy zone, somewhere around 7 cents 30. And full disclaimer, I did buy into this project a couple of days ago, up around this level at 10 cents, and as you can see, it's been dropping. I've been buying more, and if it gets down here, I will buy more. And when it goes to price prediction, guys, well, I've already talked about there being a potential for a 38, but we never know in crypto. Maybe if things go absolutely bonkers and this goes to what, a $2 billion market cap, then you're bordering on the territory of being up towards 90, maybe even 100x. But I don't like to speculate too heavily. It just seems to me that this is an interesting project, and I do like to kind of go deeper into certain projects and maybe have less exposure to the mass market and just a few key projects within certain arenas. Small market cap, working game that's outperformed Pokemon and League of Legends. Decent team by the looks of it, pretty website, growing social media following, decent partnerships with imaginary ones and other ones. All looks reasonable to me, but make sure, guys, you go away and you do your own research. You can go to the website, which I'll probably just leave down below so you don't get confused. In terms of different exchanges and things that this is available on, I personally bought mine on MEXC, which is linked down below in the description, which has some of the lowest fees across crypto and 4,500 different altcoins available. And if you're in certain countries around the world and you are struggling to access MEXC, then you can use my link for a NordVPN down below, where you'll get 4 months free. And then after that, it's $2.50 per month. This allows you to change your location so you can access exchanges like MEXC. So if you so wish, you can buy certain tokens out there. Hope you enjoyed today's deep dive. I'm going to continue to try and bring you more and more of these deep dives over the coming weeks, because I think you can use the information and ideas I teach you in this deep dive to go and analyze other GameFi projects in the future. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow in another video. Bye-bye.